You're sitting quietly, maybe on the couch, maybe at your desk. Your budgie is on your shoulder somewhere they've been 100 times before, and then completely out of nowhere, they start making this strange rhythmic motion with their neck. A slow bob, a deliberate pump, and before you can even process what's happening, they leave something on you. Most people recoil. Some completely panic. They end up searching, budgie vomiting, at 11 o'clock at night and spend the next hour totally terrified. But here's what's actually happening at that moment. Your bird just made a decision, a calculated, deliberate, biologically ancient decision, and the fact that they made it with you specifically is one of the most significant things a budgie can do. You just didn't know what you were watching. Here's what's happening at a level most people never really reach. Your budgie is not sick. They are not malfunctioning. They are performing one of the most energetically costly, emotionally loaded behaviors in their entire repertoire. And they did it on you. Specifically, you. Not the furniture, not the mirror, not even the other bird in the cage, if you have one. Just you. That specificity is the entire story. Because in the wild, this behavior regurgitation offered to another individual. It is never random. It is a highly targeted act that carries the weight of everything a small bird knows about survival, trust, and the future. To understand why they chose you, you first have to understand what they've been doing every single day since they arrived in your home. Think about this for a second. From the moment your budgie first opened their eyes in your space, they began building a map. Not just a physical one, no, they have that too, memorized down to the exact distance between your windowsill and the top of the bookshelf. No, the map they built was behavioral, a living, constantly updated model of you. They know when you wake up. Not approximately precisely. They've tracked the sound of your alarm, the particular rhythm of your footsteps in the morning, the specific sounds your kitchen makes when you start your day. They know which direction you walk first. They know when you sit down. And they've also noticed things you've never even thought to mention to anyone. They noticed the days you moved differently, the mornings you were just a little slower, the evenings you came home and just stood at the counter without doing anything in particular, those nights when your breathing was shallower than usual and your posture was slightly collapsed. A budgie's sensory system is calibrated for exactly this kind of reading. In the wild, their survival depends on detecting micro-shifts in their flock, because a flock member who is compromised changes the risk profile for everyone. So they evolved to notice, to read tension in a body from all the way across a room, to register a tiny change in your skin temperature, to pick up on the hormonal shift that stress produces in the air around you. Because yes, cortisol actually has a scent and birds can detect it. They have been reading you this entire time, and the regurgitation, when it happens, it often comes precisely in those moments. The harder days, the quieter evenings. It's not happening in spite of your emotional state. It's happening because of it. Now, here's where it gets interesting. In the harsh, unforgiving grasslands of Australia, where wild budgies spend their lives in constant motion across unpredictable terrain, food isn't just nutrition. Food is power. It's survival currency. Sharing it is an act with enormous stakes. Parent birds regurgitate to feed their young. Bonded pairs regurgitate for each other, not out of obligation, but as an ongoing reinforcement of their alliance. It is how they say, without a sound, without a gesture, without any ambiguity, "You are the one I have chosen to sustain. You are the individual whose survival I am investing in." Giving food away in a wild context is a serious biological risk. Every single calorie transferred is a calorie no longer available to the giver. The bird's body knows this. The behavior isn't impulsive. It's regulated by neurological and hormonal systems that require a specific threshold of trust and bonding just to activate. That threshold is not easily crossed. And your budgie crossed it with you. But here's the part nobody tells you. And this is where the physical language of the moment becomes extraordinary. Watch what happens in the seconds right before it occurs. Because if you've seen it and you replay the memory, you'll recognize the sequence. First, the eyes. A budgie's pupils can dilate and contract independently, rapidly, expressively in a behavior called eye pinning. In the moments leading up to regurgitation, the eyes often pin, pupils shrinking to a sharp point, then expanding, cycling. It is a sign of intense emotional activation. It's not aggression, It's not fear, it's just a focused, directed feeling toward a specific target. Then the posture shifts, the head lowers slightly, the feathers along the top of the head may rise, not as a threat display, but an opening, an expansion. The feet grip tighter, and then the neck begins its rhythm. What you are watching in those precise seconds is a sentence being formed, not metaphorically, structurally. The posture is the subject. The eye contact is the verb. The regurgitation is the object being handed over. Your bird is physically speaking to you in the only somatic language their body contains, and the sentence they are saying has one meaning, consistent across every budgie that has ever lived. You are mine. I am yours. I will feed you because I trust that you will still be here. Now flip this around entirely. Most of us, when this happens, immediately focus on ourselves. The mess, the surprise, maybe a little bit of mild revulsion. We just process the whole thing from the inside out like, what does this mean for me? What am I supposed to do? How do I clean this up? But your budgie isn't inside your head. They are staring right at your face. They're reading your reaction with the exact same precision they use to read your mood on those heavy evenings. And right in the second after they offer you the most significant gesture in their entire behavioral vocabulary, they wait. Not impatiently or even anxiously, just with the focused, quiet attention of a creature that has just placed something incredibly valuable in your hands and needs to know if you actually received it. This is the exact moment most owners miss. And it's not because they don't care. It's just because they have no idea what just happened. But once you understand it, the whole interaction shifts. You don't have to put on a big performance. You don't need to force fake warmth. Honestly, just meeting their eyes in that exact moment, staying still, letting them stay perched on you, not pulling away communicates everything. It says, received, understood, still here. There's a very specific kind of relationship that only forms between two creatures who have spent a long time paying close attention to each other. It doesn't need a shared language. It doesn't require you to be the same size or even have the same kind of brain. It just takes sustained, mutual observation over time, the kind of observation that builds, bit by bit, into something that feels a lot like knowing your budgie knows you. Not the way a person knows a person, obviously, but in the way a tiny, incredibly sharp, wild animal knows the one individual they've decided to build their entire life around. They've memorized your rhythms. They've tracked your emotional weather. They have literally noticed things about you that you don't even notice about yourself. And through all that accumulated data, they've arrived at a conclusion precise enough to activate the most energetically costly bonding behavior their body can possibly do. They chose you, deliberately, over and over again, completely against all the instincts of a prey animal whose survival depends on never being vulnerable, and they chose to be vulnerable anyway, with you. So next time it happens, and if you have a bonded budgie, it will happen again. Just pause for a second before you react. Look at their eyes first. Notice if they're tracking you specifically, if their pupils are pinning, if their posture has that deliberate inward quality of something being offered rather than something going wrong. And then just sit with what you're actually witnessing. A creature that evolved to live in open skies, designed for constant motion and nonstop vigilance, carrying inside every single cell the ancient knowledge that letting your guard down is dangerous. That creature has decided, based on everything they've seen you do, that you are worth the risk, that you are, in the only terms their biology can understand, their person, their flock, their reason to stay. That tiny little act you almost looked away from because it made you uncomfortable, that was the entire relationship, expressed in the only language they have left. I want to ask you something. Has your budgie ever actually done this? And in the moment, did you even know what it meant? Or did you only find out afterward and end up wishing you'd responded differently? Leave a comment below, because honestly, the answers people give to that question, they usually say a lot about a relationship they didn't even fully realize they had.